Hello, my diamond. Sheila Truelove here. I want to talk about a couple of things here. The difference between highly sensitive people versus overly sensitive people, because so many people get that confused. When you're talking about someone who is overly sensitive or paranoid, this isn't just about feeling emotions deeply. It often involves reacting disproportionately to situations. Overly sensitive people, they perceive threats when there are none. They take things out of context. It's hard to talk with people who are overly sensitive because they assign bad motives to everyone. It's like with these overly sensitive people, they suffer from a lot of anxiety. Okay, like I said, they always perceive that there's threats where there are none, and that's what leads to anxiety and their inability to cope with everyday challenges. Their reactions is probably could come from past traumas, or they're highly insecure, and this causes them to misinterpret other people's intentions. You can't be comfortable around these people because you have to, it's like walking on a landmine. You never know what you say is going to blow up. There's a difference between people who are highly sensitive, and those people are usually called HSP, where they have a deep feeling in terms of emotions. They feel emotions intensely, and their sensitivity, it can lead to being a greater empath and having empathy for people, and really understanding. But like I said, I know so many people who confuse the two. They're not highly sensitive, they're overly sensitive, and they need to be in therapy. And usually highly sensitive people, they are very understanding. They're not hard on people. They also know how to share their flaws. They're not sitting on their high horse acting as though there's nothing wrong with them, everything is wrong with everyone else but them. That's someone who is overly sensitive, and a lot of the times they suffer from paranoia. And most of the times, this stems from what men have done to them. They have been hurt so much from people, and now they feel they can't trust anyone. They're afraid of everything. They don't take a chance. They're terrified of everything. And it's like, I'm trying to say this as nicely as I know. And I think that if you find that you are a person who's overly sensitive, people find it hard to talk to you. You can't maintain relationships to save your life unless you have to pay people, you're constantly giving something to people, you got to do things for people. Then you need to seek some kind of support so you can navigate those type of feelings. And like I said, I'm trying to speak as nicely as I know how. And you have to be careful with people. Wow, they just confuse it so much. And I'm trying to break this down so that it can be fully understood. I don't like being misunderstood, And I keep thinking about when you're dealing with these overly sensitive people that or paranoid, they have these excessive emotional reactions, or they perceive people criticism. People who are overly sensitive, they interpret things wrong. Everything is a personal attack. It leads them to feeling, this is how you could tell when you're overly sensitive behind highly sensitive. If you suffer from panic attacks, okay, feelings of anxiety, and you're always defensive, that's not someone who's highly sensitive. That's overly sensitive, and they need to address that. And that's the best way I could, explain that so far. And when you have someone who is like, they've been hurt so much, they suffer from paranoia, this causes these individuals to distrust other people. They don't have no trust, or they feel like they are constantly under scrutiny. They're not comfortable in their own skin. They don't like people looking at them. They're very self-conscious. I'm like, really, child? Anyway, next topic. Before I move on to the next topic, tell me something. How do you feel when you're speaking to someone who they take offense to everything you say? You didn't mean anything in a bad way. You know, you're not insecure. Far from that. Would you do you find it hard to talk to people like that, or to keep it real? You know, it's like a walking on a tightrope. Everything you say is just, oh, child. Please. I explained it the best way I know how at this point. And another thing you're going to find with overly sensitive people, when people are being honest with them, they feel that you're being mean, toxic, malicious. What? How do you think? You got to be like, what? Normally, look, the way I see it is this. When you love someone, you look out for their best interests. Am I right or wrong? And when you see someone, you're talking and they'll say certain things, you don't have to always agree with the person. You understand where they're coming from. But when you give them some feedback, because after all, we're having a conversation here, right? Because if I was just to change the subject to another topic and don't even address what you just got through speaking about, then you would think I was wrong. Then you would think I'm only interested in me and what concerns me. See, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Again, overly sensitive people. And when it comes to deep-seated insecurities, let's talk about that one. Look, anytime you're a person who don't need validation from other people, you're not a person who have no insecurities. You are a person who you have grown up. You realize you're not a child anymore. I don't need you to validate me. If you're a person who constantly need praise, everybody to agree with you, everybody have to feel like you, everybody has to hit the big word, validate me. Oh, please validate me. No, sweetheart, you have insecurities and you need to address that. And don't be going to no counselor. Don't go to no life coach. Don't go to no social worker. Take your behind to someone who has a PhD behind their name and get the proper help that you need. And hopefully you can find a support group, whether it's online, in person, or over the phone. But when you have somebody that really love you, they're going to look out for your best interest. I know that's what I want. And when I speak to people, I don't give my opinion. See, opinion is based on you did no research, you don't have the facts, you're just giving a viewpoint. Anytime somebody is giving you facts, it's research, they did the stats, they got the numbers, they looked into it, that's more than an opinion. And back to when it comes to being a empath or whatever, you know, if you're a true Christian, we're supposed to imitate Jesus Christ. No, we're not Jesus Christ. No, we're not people's savior. But if you genuine, then you know you're supposed to imitate Jesus. Nobody said you're supposed to be Jesus. You're supposed to imitate him. What did Jesus come here to do? He came here to help and to serve. This world is so selfish. Everything is me, 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 me. I got to take care of me. Of course you have to take care of you because you can't take care of anyone else if you're doing bad. At the same time, if you are a true Christian, and you're not straddling the fence, Jesus Christ said, I came here for those who are sick. A well person don't need a physician. The sick ones do. And what does Jehovah want us to do? Imitate his son. What did Jesus do? He helped people. He built people up. He gave them hope. He didn't sit there selfishly talking about, well, you know, I got to take care of me. I ain't got to look out for nobody else. Oh, no, that's not Jesus' attitude at all. You have some people who claim to be Christians, but they have the personality and the characteristics of Lucifer. If you don't get pleasure out of helping other people, baby, then you need to fall back and take a self-inventory and make another assessment or something. I just wanted to address that briefly. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. It brings me pleasure to help people. I love it.